Welcome to our coverage of NAB 2012.
Last year at NAB, Sony announced the popular FS100 camera. A lot of you guys have been shooting on it and doing some really great work. In my opinion, the form factor is a little bit kludgy and difficult to work with, and a lot of manufacturers have been trying to find ways to make it more user-friendly and more suited to production environments. And guys, Dennis, you guys have been no exception here. What in particular have you guys been working with in regards to this camera?
Well, one of the things that occurred to us when we first, and we bought an FS100 because we saw it as an important camera for our typical customer in the right price range, and even for a B camera, because we know a lot of people kind of have their go-to camera, like even you guys do. In fact, you're shooting this with the FS100. Go figure. So, the answer or the question for us was, what are the problems with this camera? And one of the problems is availability of glass native to the E-mount. I mean, there's lots of adapters out there, but our sort of challenge always with lens adapters is that you're literally doing a physical connection between the two, and there's always play, and it's always a bit of a challenge to get it properly supported. The other thing we noticed with the camera is that it has the chip is very close to the lens mount. We could get technical, but we're not. So that means that there are plenty of opportunities for other types of glass. And as some of your viewers may know, we used to have a lot of lens mounts back in the Brevis days. So we had a PL. This may look familiar. And we had...
I think I still have one of these guys at the house.
You just might. So that is our PL mount, unmodified. And we basically took what we learned about lens mounts, collimation, which is important, and we refined a few things, because if you remember in the Brevis days, we used to have little Allen screws that would go and grab the mount. And now, in this unit, we've done away with those, and we use little bayonet. You won't be able to see it, but they're like little guillotines, and they come and they actually grab the mount from the top and the bottom, so there's no point loads on it.
Our coverage of NAB 2012 is brought to you by Kessler, innovative tools for filmmakers. Lettuce Direct. It's better with lettuce. LettuceDirect.com. Next Lights. Get lit.
I think what's really great about this is that we've done this by building a cheese plate, top and bottom, which gets us to the standard, the 85 millimeter distance that we want from the center of the rods to the optical center. We've maintained the same on the top, and we'll show you this rig a little bit later. And we've basically taken the Brevis system, and we've redesigned it to fit onto this camera. So our mount doesn't actually load up this mount at all. It physically doesn't touch it. It's within a thou or two in terms of proximity, but we don't load it at all.
So basically what ends up happening is the weighted lens is carried completely by the support system here without putting any stress on the lens mount of the camera.
Correct.
Now, in the Brevis day, you guys had a lot of different mount solutions as well. So does that factor in here as well, or is this just PL?
Yeah, what's kind of cool is that this PL mount actually fits on the outside and can be taken off very, very quickly, has our collimation ring. So basically, if you don't have infinity exact, then we have that little ring in here. You can adjust it 1 full revolution's 1 millimeter of travel. So you can very precisely set infinity, so it's proper for OCT. If you still got some of those old Russian cinema lenses, we do. PL mount for sure. And what we've done with this rig is we have a Zeiss 50mm f1.4, which is awesome, and it's on the Nikon mount. So for somebody who had done this once, to switch this out between the mounts would probably take about 2 to 3 minutes. And the also, like the Brevis, once you collimate your SLR mounts, then you can also, once you collimate your SLR mounts, you will retain those settings as you switch between them. So on the SLR side, you can go to eBay, for example, find yourself M42, like Pentax, Minolta, Canon FD, EOS, Nikon, and Pentax K. So that's our whole inventory of lens mounts that we used to support, and all supported independent of the camera, really. So by boxing things in, and you guys, those in the industry, I could stand on this and you know you're not going to damage the camera because we're not loading up this chassis at all. And we also have these 2 points, and then you'll see here we're tying into the hot shoe as well, or the cold shoe, with another mount. So we have 3 tie-ins here and here. Therefore, if you wanted our base plate and top rail system, but you didn't want to use our interchangeable lens mounts, you can buy this without this piece. So now you have a top plate, a bottom plate, and you can run rails in our map box just like we did here to build our super strong rig. And we've redone our shoulder bits and partnered up with Small HD with a DP4. We've changed the whole way our shoulder pad system works in a way that's simpler with modular steel weights that are low profile. And essentially I can then throw this on my shoulder and, we don't have the DP4 adjusted to my eye, but I now have what is our first, it is our first EVF optimized rig.
So let's backtrack just a little bit. So on the PL mount, I'm assuming since that's basically built from your already existing inventory, just kind of modified.
Right. It's not modified. It's actually, we made sure it worked.
No, I mean with the base plate,
yes,
the plate
stuff. Yes.
So that's currently available. And
yes.
What kind of price point for let's take this kit right here?
Well, it starts, there's a kit excluding this that's in around the $500 mark with the rails, so it gets you sort of set up with an EX1 if you don't want the solution. And then if you were to end up with the with this rig with a PL, you're still under $1,000. So this, we've also packaged it like our Core, which was one of our most successful DSLR rigs ever. Still is a popular. What we did is we packaged the follow focus, a set of lens gears, so we'll just fire this out of the way, the swing away map box, and the base plate system, top rails, so pretty much everything you see here, and that runs in at around $3,000. So we've basically taken, what you consider to be one of the better follow focuses in the industry, and bundled it with. I'm very confident in saying that this is our most Teutonic, purpose designed. Not that you're going to use the camera for a lifetime, but I carried it here in a backpack, with the lens attached. So I just, out of the box, throw on the back, throw on the map box, and you've got a full. I mean, if you saw this, no one's going to say, "Well, that's an EX1," on first stretch. So I don't know. We think it's now with the FS 700 and the same form factor. You will see very quickly a port of this rig to that.
Our coverage of NAB 2012 is brought to you by Cinevate, tools for filmmakers and photographers. Delaluz, apparel for filmmakers. Zeiss, we make it visible.
So you guys have a lighting solution here that I think we may have looked at before, but I don't honestly remember that much about it. So give me just a quick refresher here.
Sure. Well, we've been working with Sean over here, is directly off camera. He's been in the industry for about 20 years, and like a lot of good businesses, has come up with a solution for the problem that he was having, which is how to do 15 setups in a day when you're doing commercial work and that sort of thing. So. And LED lighting is everywhere. And in terms of what Cinevate can offer the filmmakers, our big thing is how can we give you a bright light that can be cut or diffused without 2 stops of light, so half a stop of light, and what can provide you with 90 plus CRI, in this case 93, and with these lights. With the 12, we have a 12 and a 24 and a 48 that we're going to be launching. I would give us about a couple months because we've been working on the light management solutions for these. We were talking in this case a 200 watt HMI equivalent, so roughly 600 to 700 watts incandescent. It's a high accuracy light with about 30 degrees of built-in spread, for lack of a better word, and it was a solution that we were really confident about. So we've also added the 12 volt replaceable 10 amp hour brick. And
is this you had a battery solution before? Is this different or an update to it?
It's actually no. You've seen it, and it's finally available.
Okay.
And it's one of those back burner projects that we didn't have a lot of need for it. Now it's how do we give you basically 700 watts of lighting for 3 or 4 hours on a 12 volt brick? And it's got a replaceable cell pack, and it has about a 10 amp hour rating. So basically, and we also have a level meter and auxiliary power, onboard fuse. So our great, because these draw so little power and throw so much light, they're the perfect companion if you're looking at field lighting.
So what's a basic kit here running?
Well, we're still working out final pricing, and you'll see on the side plates of the 12s and the 24s, we've basically built a complete light management chassis around it. So because anyone can sell a light, but then what you need is you need barn doors, you need diffusion that's super efficient. In this case, typical diffusion for an LED light would render this about a 200 watt equivalent, but we're able to diffuse it to still give you about 400 or 500 watts of usable light, which is huge. So for me, it's the difference between a light being a go-to and a light being an LED light being an accessory for lighting. So we wanted to make this so that it would be a replacement for the old hot light kit that everybody has, a 150, 350, and 650.
So pricing and final details coming down the line, or
our target for this under $1,000 for the 12 light, and you should see the 24 in around 16, and the 48, which is the monster over there, is going to run just under 3. Is the plan. So.
Right. And you've got one other little gadget and gizmo we want to look at over here, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we looked at, and I know Matt, is a big fan. I know because he's tweeted a shoebox sort of. No, it was a carry-on with a book and a Simpless, and that's just our really versatile base plate. And what we're finding is a lot of our professional shooters are. In fact, I saw Casey Warren running around and he had this under his camera. Why? Because he likes to use an accessory mount to throw on, say, a small HD if he needs it, or a zoom recorder if he needs it, or in this case, have a really simple rig that, packs down into basically a form factor like that would fit in about, it would fit in a shoebox. So because we provided 1/4-20 threads on the bottom, we basically, we were looking at our dolly wheels one day and thinking, we should just throw some, let's figure out a nice wheels kit for this. And we shot a piece to introduce trolley. So if we have a look at trolley, it's simplest on, I was going to say steroids, but it's really simplest on wheels.
Simplest on wheels, and basically designed for like tabletop applications and that type of, any type of low mode you need to get like a skater dolly and get it in there.
And we haven't looked at our sliders today, but we now have 6 different models of sliders. Maybe the most diverse, I'm not going to say maybe, I'd say they are the most diverse platform of products, from the low end at $500 for us to the Atlas 200 that can take 200 pounds and is a $2,000 slider. So we've covered just about every niche, but so we're not trying to replace the sliders, but the question
It's a different application.
Absolutely. It's sort of like, if you could only bring one thing and this much space, how much buzz for your buck can we give you? And the answer is, well, we can give you a rig that can serve as a little tripod, a mount point, and we can add wheels to it to give you, slider movement with any axis of rotation, really, in a really inexpensive kit. So we can have a quick look at it.
So just tell me a little bit about pricing and availability for the trolley.
Trolley is on special, and it should be in around the $400 mark.
So does that include is that an expansion kit to an existing kind of simplest rig, or how's that work?
Well, you can buy it in 2 flavors. You can buy it as an expansion kit to an existing rig, and if you buy it, basically what you're getting, if you buy a trolley, let's say you already have a simplest, you're going to want the add-on kit. If you want to get into the simplest system and get the wheels included, then it's about $400, and it includes the base plate, the quick release that the camera's sitting on right now, and basically this setup with the wheels, which articulate back here, here, and here. And like all of our sliders or anything with a bearing, we spend a lot of time and effort getting the bearing combination right. So what you're ending up with is 6 ABEC 5 bearings that are actually proper ABEC bearings, so they're super smooth.
If people want to follow you and kind of track the development of your products and projects, what's the best way to do that?
Well, one of our biggest efforts in the last year is and success stories has been Cinevate.com in terms of providing I wouldn't say daily, but nearly daily updates. We're really trying to interact with our customers, provide not just what's going on in their professional world, but educational bits on how they're using the gear. Every time we see somebody who's doing something different or innovative, we feature them on the blog. So, but of course we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Our Vimeo channel is the place to find all of our videos, but certainly Cinevate.com is the home place for all information related to Cinevate.
Dennis, thanks again so much for your time. As always, really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the show, man. Try not to work too hard.
I will try not to work too hard. It's been an awesome show so far.
Stay tuned for more coverage fresh from the floor.